Hello, my name is Kanye Langa, and I'm going to be talking about how to heal acne holistically. So, when I say holistically, what I'm trying to convey is that everything is connected, nothing is really separate from each other. And so, me having acne is connected to every other area of my life in some way. And so my process is becoming aware of that connection and using that awareness to change something and then heal my acne. Sounds very simple when I put it that way. And it is, it is quite simple, but it has taken me years, years, years to get where I am today, where I can say that I know what I'm doing, you know. So let's get into it. So this is going to be broken down into 3 parts, and this is the first video of the 3, and I'm just going to be talking about my journey, my experience, and how my experiences have shaped my understanding of why I have acne and how I can change that. So let's continue. So what I'm calling acne, and acne can present itself in many ways, but the acne that I am trying to heal is having pimples on my face, blemishes, and having like the scars that remain after the pimples have disappeared. And that's what I'm trying to change. I have had acne since I was 8, I think, is when I first started noticing that I had pimples, and it was very difficult. It has been a very, very interesting journey, just like experiencing all of that. So I'm hoping that you're looking at me and thinking like, what acne? Because I don't have much going on right now, and that's been because I have tried and failed and succeeded and all of that to get where I am today. And I'm extremely, extremely happy and grateful that I have come this far. And it's been a long journey. I think I've had acne since I was like 8, and it's been very, very difficult. So let's talk about the journey. So the first thing that I think is helpful to think about when conceptualizing the journey, if you have acne, or if you have acne, have had acne, have acne from time to time, is to think about the most prominent experiences. So when you think about like just the acne that you've experienced in your life, that sounds very dramatic. What sticks out to you? And let's take a look at that. That's somewhere where we can start. So one of my most like noteworthy or strange experiences was an experience I had some years ago. I think I might have been like 14. Yeah, I think I was around 14, 15, because this is really when it started changing. The trajectory of my journey with acne started changing. And if I didn't already mention, I had very severe acne when I was young, like very, very severe. I will include some pictures, hopefully if I find them, of what that was like for me, and compare that to what's going on over here. Okay. So a couple years ago, I went back home to the country where I was born, back home, and I remember I was sitting outside. I was outside doing something, but I was pretty much by myself, except for our sekuru, who is the very nice old man who takes care of our house and the garden and does all of that lovely stuff. He was outside as well doing, his gardening work. And this is one of the experiences I was just like, it was so strange because it seemed to come out of nowhere, and that's what made me take notice. I was like, okay, this is strange. Let's pay attention. And it really felt like the universe just like outstretched its hand, like God just outstretched his or her hand, and was like, Kanye, you need help, which I did, and I appreciate it. So out of nowhere, I was just sitting minding my business. Out of nowhere, Seguro comes and tells me that hair products, they kill the face. So what did this mean? So at the time I had relaxed hair, so not my natural hair. I had relaxed hair, which you don't know what that means. Like my hair was permed with like chemicals to make it look straight. And so that's what it sounded like. He was saying hair products, they kill your skin. That's basically what he said, something like that. And I didn't understand. I was like, it didn't understand, because it wasn't something that I would normally hear from him talking about hair products. I didn't expect that. But he said it a couple of times until I finally like, okay, I still didn't understand, but I just knew, well, he's telling me and he must know something. It must be important. It's so important that he had to tell me. And I knew he was talking about my acne just because it was very noticeable, and people brought it up a lot, which wasn't nice, but it was necessary. It was a necessary part of this experience. I just could not understand where he would have this knowledge from. It was just so like unexpected and like out of character that it was just like, take notice, And those are the things that we need to like focus on. So for me, I just decided to take this advice. I decided, okay, unfortunately for me, the natural hair movement was kicking off. So I thought, okay, let me stop doing so much with my hair. This is where the inspiration to really stop doing so much with my hair in terms of like using chemicals and different products. I decided, let me stop doing that and see what happens. And this was really a turning point for my acne. It became much less severe when I stopped relaxing my hair, stopped using so many beauty products on my hair, and just kept it natural, used minimal products, like oils and other very natural products. And I really did notice a difference. I'll try and find a picture of that moment in my life. Hopefully I have one. I probably do, but I didn't like taking pictures of that time anyways because of acne and other reasons. But yeah, I really started to notice a difference. It became much less severe. I still had breakouts, but it just happened less frequently, and the scarring was much less severe. Like it wouldn't last as long, it wouldn't be as pigmented as it used to be. So hopefully it's a picture that you can see. Hopefully there's a picture that you can see so I can prove it to you. But either way, me appearing like this is the proof. This is the proof that like magical, like amazing things happened. And I should mention as well that I tried a whole like similar to everyone else in this world who has severe acne. I have tried almost everything. Like I have tried product and product and product and products and products and products. Like I've tried so many different things. And whilst like there's some things that just felt like, yeah, this is working, but it never, I never got the result that I wanted. It was a constant, oh, this is helping, but I still don't feel like I've succeeded in beating my acne, which makes sense on an energetic level. So as you can see, I used an example of a strange, anything that just something that just stuck out to me during my journey, and really just decided, okay, let's see what I can learn from this. And I learned, and it helped, and it was just, I'm very grateful. But it was just one piece of this big puzzle that I was slowly putting together over the years that I didn't even know that I was putting together. But yeah. So to sum that up, identify any moment in your acne experience that was prominent to you that made you go up, or maybe it was extremely emotional for you that it really like it forced you to notice it, forced you to pay attention. Go to that moment and see what you could have learned, and really like listen to yourself. What was I supposed to learn here? Just ask yourself that question and let the answer come to you. This is very intuitive, but you can do it. I did it and I was like 14, 15. Anyone can do it. You can do it for sure. Especially because you want this. Like, if you clicked on this video, you don't want to have acne anymore. And that will take you to a place, it will bring you to the place where you can take on your acne and change it for the rest of your life. So the next thing that I'm going to share in this video are some other things to reflect on that happened in your acne journey. So anything related to your acne, anything that just comes up when I say acne journey, like just let those things come up and maybe like write down a list. But some ideas of things to pay attention to are, when did it begin? When did you get acne? I think I got acne when I was around 8 years old, and I remember that was when I moved from my home country, Zimbabwe, to South Africa, and it was a very big change, and I did not understand the scope of the change, but it was dramatic. For me, at least, it was very dramatic. Everything changed in my life. It was stressful. I mean, there were many great things about it, but part of the experience was stressful. You can ask yourself, what was the environment that you were in? What is happening in that environment? What were the people around you doing? How were they making you feel? What was going on with you? And feel free to be honest with yourself, because this is really where like the juice from the fruits comes out. Just be honest. So for example, when I think back to the time I think I started developing acne, during the time I was moving, it was amongst many different experiences. It was stressful, it was painful, it was confusing, and I remember having this confusing experience of just feeling inferior because I was a Zimbabwean in a place where being Zimbabwean wasn't necessarily a great thing. And there are so many social, political explanations for that I'm not going to get into, but that's just the way I felt. I felt inferior, and I didn't even understand it fully. I was like 8. I don't understand. I didn't. But that's how I felt. I felt so many things, but just I remember having stress that I didn't know how to express. I had no idea. Everything just felt internalized. And that's another thing that I'm going to talk about in the next video, is how I used my feelings, so like my emotions and my physical feelings, sensations, to really bring out the dynamic of the acne and the relationship that I'm having with the acne. So for example, I know now that the physical feeling of having acne at that time, I was 8, is like a coming up, like a bubbling of first a suppressing of something, like something is it's just coming in and it's being suppressed. It feels so shameful and making me small, and I'm just so confused because I'm 8. I have no idea what to do with it, and then something has to happen with that energy. It has to go somewhere, so it just comes up to the surface. And what I just did just there was bringing like a tiny feeling and making it big, exaggerating it to really understand what's going on. I'll talk more about that later on, but I just highlight that to give you an example of the answer I have to what was going on at the time, and that's going to help me see what I can do to change with the awareness that I now have. Another question you can ask yourself is, what did I pick up from the environment and what did I internalize during the time I developed acne. So I mentioned just now about feelings of inferiority. I felt a lot of shame. I felt a lot of like, something is wrong with me. Something is just, I'm defective in some way. I don't belong. I'm different. And that brings me to another example. So I felt distinctly different and defective, and that reminds me of a very vivid memory that I have from earlier in my childhood. Probably was like 5 or 6, because it was the first house that I ever lived in. And I remember we had this cat that lived with us somewhere. Didn't live in the house, but it lived in the area around our house. And I remember it had a litter of kittens. And I remember there was one kitten after the birth of the litter that looked so different. The kitten was weak, it was different, and it was like all like spotted. It had some sort of skin disease. It was certainly the different one of the pack, the sickly one of the litter. And I remember, unfortunately, in that memory, we pushed it away. I remember we pushed it away from the others because I guess maybe we were afraid that it was going to contaminate the others or whatever. But that was our response. But that's all I remember from the memory. And that's all I need. That's all I needed from it. So I just remember feeling, like I feel like there's a link there. That feeling of just feeling like there's something wrong with me and that I need to be separate from others. And I feel like that's why there was an outward expression of just like confusion and just this horrible, ugly energy that I had no idea how else to express. So if this story sounds a little bit convoluted at first, that's how it was exactly for me in that experience. It was convoluted, it didn't make sense, but I promise you this is going to make sense. And keep in mind, the proof is here. The proof is here. If you compare it to the pictures that I've shown you, the proof is here. This works. Trust this process. I have trusted this process and it hasn't failed me. And I really want to share this with all of you. Thank you. So thank you very much for joining me in the beginning of exploring this acne journey. And next time we're going to talk about other strategies that I used, and then in the final video we're going to see how that all creates a picture where everything is connected and everything is meaningful and everything was leading me to this direction where I know exactly what to do to change so I can have clear skin, which is all I have ever wanted. Yeah. So thank you very much and look out for the next video. Bye.